Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Decentralized Chain. It's Feroz, and in today's episode, we are going to be catching up with one of the core contributors to the Dogechain platform. But before we do, if this is the type of content that you like, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. Better still, if you prefer chat in real time, come and join us over in the Telegram channel. Plenty of content being shared there, lots of alpha before it even hits YouTube. And also, if you're into quick tutorials, whether it's airdrops, whether it's setting up wallets, come and follow us over on TikTok. Plenty of small sound bites being released every day. Now, let's jump in, catch up with Roc, and see exactly what is happening with Dogechain. Roc, welcome to the channel. It's great to have you here. I'm just going to point out I was one of the first to talk about Dogechain, so it's always a privilege to have yourself on the show in order to continue those conversations. But for those who are streaming in live over on TikTok, because clearly they're wondering who is this man with this wonderful fish tank behind him. I would be grateful if you could introduce yourself, Roc, and let us know who you are.
I'm Roc Zacharias, one of the core contributors at Dogechain, co-founder of QuickSwap, the largest DEX on Polygon, and CEO of Lunar Digital Assets, which is a marketing and incubation firm responsible for marketing for projects such as Dogechain, QuickSwap, Polygon. We started working with Polygon almost maybe 4 years ago now. Actually, maybe more than four, maybe 4.5, maybe 3.5 or 4.5. I don't know. But yeah, so happy to be here. I think today we'll probably mostly focus on Dogechain, it seems. So.
Yep, that's right. That's the talk of the town today. But so I mean, a little introduction to those who don't know what Dogechain is. What is it?
So Dogechain is arguably, you could call it a layer 2 or a side chain of Doge, and it enables smart contracts for Doge. So historically, Doge has been focused on like point of sale, getting merchants to take Doge for real world goods mostly. We thought that it would be a good idea to have people be able to use Doge in the virtual world, meaning DeFi, GameFi, NFTs, etc.
Yeah.
So with Dogechain, you can build any of the things you're used to on Polygon, Ethereum, etc., all on top of Doge, using Doge as gas. Doge is the primary currency on the chain. Doge is used as collateral on the chain for loans. Doge is used as the primary token pair for DEXs. There's lots of other benefits, like there's gambling and casino applications, which I'm not endorsing. See if it's legal in your jurisdiction, but as an example, there are a lot of different casinos and gambling stuff that uses Doge as a currency, and then also gives like payouts to the Doge community. Like for example, one takes I think half of all revenue and gives it to Doge holders, and then in the future they'll be giving it to DC stakers as well. So the point is, everything we do on Dogechain should go back to supporting Doge, which is our primary mission.
And I think for those who are, I can see questions being asked on the side. What I would say is, if I was to wrap it up in one word, is that Dogechain ultimately gives Doge utility beyond being holding and obviously being a peer-to-peer payment, which it is what it is. So right, okay, so perfect. Thanks for that, Roc, and hopefully everyone else on the stream is now fully up to date in terms of what Dogechain is. I suppose I've got to ask, I mean, what makes you excited about Dogechain? Why did you sort of really kick off? Because clearly there's a lot of potential here.
Well, clearly with Elon Musk being the de facto president of the world at this point, and his love for Doge, and just the whole community's love for this fun meme token, we thought it would be cool to build some stuff around it. Our team was originally actually thinking about building better wallets for Doge or some more like core infrastructure. But after a lot of ideating, we decided, the best thing to bring the most value to Doge is having like an EVM for Doge. And people have discussed the possibility of making like a bridge to Ethereum, which I think the Doge Foundation or some Doge core devs are doing. And Vitalik has expressed that he would like something like that like a native bridge from Doge to Ethereum. I think that's great too. But I think what we're doing, it really benefits the core of Doge, which is we use Doge as a gas. If you bridge to Ethereum, you're rewarding the Ethereum miners.
Yeah.
You're rewarding the Ethereum ecosystem, which I love the Ethereum ecosystem. It's my second largest holding, pretty sure. But I think that we could do better. And I think that by making Doge this central currency of this chain, and everything is, you know, working towards the greater good of Doge, I think that brings a lot more value back. Mm-hmm. You know, previously, Billy Marcus, one of the creators of Doge, he launched an NFT collection, and he launched it on Ethereum. Who benefited from that? The Ethereum miners, the Ethereum marketplaces, right? So if he were to launch that NFT collection on Dogechain, it would be Doge holders, because Doge is the gas and Doge is the currency on it. So it increases the velocity of money of Doge, which is exactly what Elon and so much of the Doge community have been looking for as a more transactional currency.
No, of course. So then what would you say? Tell me a bit more about the mission then. What is your sort of ultimate vision for Dogechain then?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's to bring value to Doge in whatever ways possible.
Great.
So collateral being used as the main currency. The Doge community is massive. When I go to restaurants, bars, meetups, whatever, people that are like non-crypto people, there's a lot of them in the United States. You'd be surprised at how many people randomly I talk to who know about, you know, crypto, and almost all of, at least, I don't know, at least 50%, probably like 70% always say, yeah, I have some Doge, or yeah, my friend told me about Doge. So Doge is like a lot of people's, interestingly, like their entryway to crypto now. It used to be Bitcoin was the entryway. Now it's Doge is the entryway for a lot of people. And so we think that if we could bridge the gap between retail and DeFi by educating retail about DeFi and teaching them valuable lessons like not your keys, not your coins.
Oh yeah,
that's very important, right? We see now with FTX, I got a lot of friends messaging me, hey, I had my money on FTX. Hey, I had my money on Celsius. And now those have gone down. BlockFi is starting to freeze transactions. Even Crypto.com has freezed some transactions. And so these people they're not using the first rule you learn in crypto or as a Bitcoiner. Oh, and I meant to give some people some faith. I got to put my, from Anthony Pompliano here, Bitcoin
we'll get there
to 100,000. So like, I think Bitcoin is such a good core foundational way to come into crypto. And the problem is if people come in through Doge, a lot of the Doge community is not as even though it's a fork of Bitcoin and it came from a lot of Bitcoiners originally, it's the people aren't really pushing these narratives like not your keys, not your coins, learning how to use a hardware wallet, learning how to take custody and all the security protocols that you have to understand if you're going to be in this industry. Mostly because a lot of the Doge community, I think over 30 or 40% of the Doge community, last I checked, was on Robinhood. So we're trying to educate those people and bring them into DeFi where they can hold their own keys, where they can be their own custodian, where they don't have to worry that their government, their bank, or some other government is going to freeze their transactions. I mean, you could be in Iran or in Russia or some other country, China, etc., and the US can freeze your bank account, which is crazy. So we think, you know, decentralization solves this, and we want to be at the forefront of bringing Doge users into that ecosystem.
It's a great point that you raised, actually, because if we kind of go back to the bull run of 2020, 2021, you know, Dogecoin itself, there was a lot of marketing, there was a lot of push around everything, and a lot of it was just, I wouldn't necessarily say it was marketing from any core team. It was just marketing through word of mouth. And the problem with that is that, you know, everyone wants to get it, you know, those who want to get into crypto, the first things they kind of hear from a lot of people who don't know much about crypto is, hey, Dogecoin, hey, you know, so-and-so coin. It's a lot around the memes. And again, you said it has a massive community, which it does. And the issue there is everyone's just only focused on picking up Doge because they're thinking it's going to run to, you know, 80 cent, 90 cent. Even when we had Elon on Saturday Night Live, you saw that run happening, right? But no one really, you know, beyond it being a meme, no one was really looking at it beyond that, right? It was just a meme token, something to get, it was cheap, and that was it. But actually, when you think about it, when we look at Dogechain in itself, what we are doing here is we're now providing utility behind Dogecoin, but also with that utility comes a fundamental understanding of what's happening in the blockchain space. Because those who are just interested in the memes won't know about NFTs. They won't know about DeFi and all of the great stuff that we see on Ethereum because they're just not focused about it. But those who are in the Dogecoin ecosystem, or, you know, that mindset, once they realize you can do more with it, it actually opens up, you know, a big educational piece into crypto. So
you know, to go off that, I mean, you're holding your Doge. What do you do with it? There's not much to do with it.
Exactly.
Robinhood is making money from your Doge transactions. Let's do those trades on Dogechain, and then the revenue from that goes to Doge holders, right? I mean, we gave 90. We did it. Our first airdrop. Was for Doge holders who bridged their Doge over. I think we had $20 to $30 million worth of Doge bridged over, and that paid out at the time of the airdrop, which was spread over a longer period. But the dollar amount at the time was like $90 million.
Yeah.
And the community actually since voted to reduce that amount based on like this burn that I know you mentioned we want to talk about. But but $90 million, you know, even if it's reduced, it was still 20 something million dollars, or maybe 18 million or something. But we gave that to Doge holders, and then the Doge holders who received those DC tokens now can vote in the ecosystem to change or to propel the ecosystem forward. So the Doge holders are the controllers of Dogechain.
Yeah. I was going to say, interestingly enough, look, as in creating your own chain is no small feat at the end of the day, right? Nobody can come along and just pick up and say, you know what, I'm going to create a blockchain for Doge. So I've got to ask, because I know that there are a lot of people involved with Dogechain. Can you tell me a little bit more about the teams that are involved and who's helping you build this? Well, it's already built. So who's helping you carry on building?
Yeah. So we have a lot of contributors. There's around, I would say 50 people on the team working on, I wouldn't say, I guess, on the team, like contributors. So we're trying to make this as decentralized as possible. But some of the main contributors are myself from QuickSwap and, you know, my work with Polygon. We have the CEO and CTO of Anchor, which is, you know, responsible for a lot of the biggest infrastructure in the space, including the kind of legendary now Polygon RPC aggregator, which solved a lot of the Polygon scaling issues early on because RPCs were unreliable. They built this RPC aggregator. It's what everybody in Polygon uses to this day. So we have people who built part of some of the core infrastructure for Polygon contributing. And, you know, QuickSwap is still the largest dApp on Polygon. And we've brought in hundreds of projects, probably between 200 to 500 projects to Polygon over the years by getting them listed on QuickSwap and then getting them to bring some token liquidity over or getting them to bring their entire protocol over to Polygon. That's always been the ultimate goal. And we've done that to hundreds of projects. And so we've been there through a lot of the building of Polygon from the early days when it was very small and not much TVL anywhere. QuickSwap was the first, I think the first dApp to hit 1 million TVL. I could be wrong on that, but very close to the first, if not. We were the first layer 2 DEX to reach 1 billion TVL in the world on any chain. And at one point we had over 1 billion a day in volume per day. Wow. So we understand what it takes to build a chain. And we have other people like, so QuickSwap, Anchor, you know, CTO, CEO, and then Sam Kazemian from Frax, which is one of the larger stablecoins that survived this crazy turbulent time. We've got Andrew Lee, who was one of the first advisors at FTX and was responsible for a lot of their marketing plan early on and I think he was there for their first 1,000 users. Kind of crazy now with what's happening with FTX. I don't know if that's now, is that bragging rights or is that a liability?
I think anything's game at this point, to be honest, Roc.
So, yeah, we've got a lot of important people who have a lot of good experience in the industry, having built multiple $1 billion+ projects. We have LDA, which is the marketing and incubation firm that has about 37 team members that I'm the CEO of. And so we have connections to all publications in the industry. Most are all influencers, etc. We do content creation, videos, video editing, animations, writing, graphics, everything you need for marketing. So we've got a strong marketing team. We've got a strong development team from like coming from the Anchor side, which are Ryan and Chandler from Anchor manage our development team, which has been trusted for a long time. So we've got a lot of strong players involved.
Yeah, we've had Anchor on the team, Anchor on the channel before as well, actually. So I've interviewed with Ryan before in the past. So let's talk. You touched on staking earlier, right? So staking actually went live on Dogechain. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah. So staking on Dogechain is unique. We use a VE model, which is typically used for DEXs. Curve was, they kind of made this famous, and now lots of projects have brought this in. Now we're doing this for a chain, which as far as I know is the first time a chain has done this. And so what that does is people can lock their DC tokens for anywhere from 1 month to 4 years. If they lock for 4 years, they get the maximum like multiplier of their share of the rewards, which is they get eight times the rewards. So right now, if you stake for 4 years, I think the percent is 109%. And the rewards are liquid. So you lock for 4 years, but you're getting liquid rewards daily or whenever you claim. What's interesting about it is that by locking, not only do you get these rewards for backing up the network with security in our validator arm, that's that track. The other option you have is to lock up your rewards and go to the DAO track. So with the DAO track, you'll be voting on 29% of the entire supply is allocated for the DAO, and the DAO will be responsible for investing in projects on the chain. So the DAO will choose, okay, we want to invest $100,000 in X protocol, and because we believe that protocol is valuable for the success of Dogechain. And so then the community invests in that protocol, and they get the benefits of that. Now, we haven't released the details on how those benefits will come, but more will come with that. But you can basically think of it as us. I'm a big fan of Mark Cuban, who I've done. You can look up my podcast or at a conference I was with him. It was DeFi Summit, me and Mark, and Sandeep from Polygon, and Stanley from Aave, and Justin Wu from DeFi Summit and Decentral conferences. But we're a big fan of Mark Cuban, so we're going to try to replicate what he's done with Shark Tank with Dogechain.
Okay.
So we're going to let the community vote on where we invest and have it be kind of Shark Tank style, and we'll release more information about that in the coming maybe weeks or months. But that'll be good. So you're giving community control of the treasury, that DAO treasury, basically.
And I think that's what we see a lot of projects try to do in this space. Not necessarily get as far as the vision that you've just discussed now, but it'd be great. It will be great to see a Shark Tank of crypto at the end of the day.
Yeah. Owned by the community.
Yeah, exactly. Owned and governed by the community, basically. So
they get to put their VC hat on. Everybody wants to wear a VC hat, right? And I'm a big believer in the hive mind, that it's like the efficient market theory, that everything is kind of priced in.
Yep.
Having a free market where prices can be the signal, the language between transactions and finding the true value of something. Well, if we could have the hive mind, like I'm not smart enough to make all the decisions on where I want, Dogechain DAO to invest. I don't know the projects well enough. I don't have time to DD them all. But by allowing the community to take part in that and giving them the VC hat, then I think we can see some probably incredible results, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean, as in some viewers know, but behind the scenes, I'm a practitioner in what they call knowledge management, and one of the things there that we sort of heavily believe on is actually the herding of social knowledge, and it's such a powerful thing to be able to harvest that. Ultimately, that's what you're doing. You're harvesting brains across the globe, because you're right.
That's what capitalism and free markets are.
No, exactly.
You're you're bringing the entire hive mind into every equation.
Yeah.
Like price controls they've tried in the past and they don't work because, like, okay, if there's a hurricane that hits some copper mine in some country, and now how do we decide where does the copper go? What should the price be? Should the copper go to making, you know, I don't know, tanks, or should it go to making like pencils? And you know, I don't know, you know, you get what I'm saying.
No, of course, of
so
course.
let the free market signal decide.
So another thing that you touched on earlier, you mentioned burn, DC token burns, Dogechain token burns. What's that all about?
So we have had at least a couple burns now. One of the burns that we did was people who didn't claim their airdrop. I think we burned that, and I don't remember what that was, but it was a significant amount.
It was quite a big chunky piece from what I recall.
I think it was like 7 or 8 figures.
Yeah.
Was burnt there. And then later we decided that the circulating supply was small, but the fully diluted value was so large, peaking at 4.5 billion fully diluted value. And then the circulating supply was quite small, around 20 million, or I think at the peak, maybe 100 million. And so what that kind of means is that there was going to be a lot of inflation. And so the community asked us, hey, we should burn a lot of these tokens because it's going to be too much inflation. And we, like, it doesn't really matter what we think, it matters what they think, but I personally agree with them. And so we just listened to the community and we put it to a vote. And 99.99% of the community, and given a lot of these people are people who still had airdrop coming to them vested over time. And even they all basically voted, let's burn this. We don't care about the long-term or about the getting these tokens later. We want to change the kind of sentiment now and then decrease the inflation. So it's like you're pulling the inflation kind of forward, or kind of multiplying people's holdings now because we burned 80% supply. But so it's like kind of seems like short-term thinking, but really it's long-term thinking because you're deleting the inflation also.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a lot of game theory to think about here, but I think it was the right move, and I think the free market signal, like we were just talking about earlier, agreed, because the price, you know, I'm not really supposed to talk about price, but maybe you can. But there was big action.
Yeah, there was.
We burned over $2 billion of tokens.
No, I saw. No, and again, on this channel, we don't talk too much about price, but everyone can read between the lines to see where that ended up with most burns do, which is always great to see anyway. And I think it helped a lot with general awareness as well. So let's talk. I mean, look, it's no surprise we're in a bear market. I know nothing's changing any day soon. Sentiment's pretty much at an all-time low. So I've got to ask, in terms of next steps, what are your short-term goals compared to your long-term goals?
Short-term is to get staking dialed in and to add some more features to staking. Then next is the DAO, getting that out. We're starting to get grants out to projects. So if you're a project that's interested in building on Dogechain, you can apply. I believe there's a link on our website. If not, just go to the Telegram, which is, I think, Dogechain Family or Dogechain Official. I don't know. You'll have to find that online.
Links are all. Don't worry, the links are all below in the description, so our viewers will find it.
Yeah. So if you have a project and you want grants or support, marketing support, developer support, etc., we'd love to have you. If you think this aligns with your project or community narrative, and you know, particularly we're looking for fun projects. Projects that are willing to do something to help Doge. So if you come over and you're not going to help Doge, and you're not Doge themed, or you're just trying to come in and take advantage, kind of, or extract value without giving value, it's okay to extract value, but you need to create value for the community as well. So we want projects that are like Doge themed, that projects that give back to Doge, either through like staking or giving some revenue back to Doge or to DC, paying some kind of homage to Doge. That's the whole point. So if you're interested in that, let us know. And we have a grant program. I don't know if we officially said it, but we have $1 million we're going to be giving to these grants over the coming months. And yeah, I forget, what was the original question?
So it was short-term goals versus your long-term goals.
Oh, yeah. So short-term. So yeah, grants, DAO, staking, get staking, some improvements to staking. Like, for example, on our staking, it shows like 0.5% are staked, but That's of the total supply, which won't be released for 5 or 10 years.
Yep.
But the circulating supply, it's more like I think 6%, and I think we just launched it yesterday. So 6% have staked for an average of 3.5 years, with which is like, you know, around at 4 years you get 109% interest or APY. But that could change based on how many people stake. And then we're doing something that's really interesting, that's also unique here, is that previously in most protocols, the more people stake, the less the APY. We are actually doing something where the more people stake, we will start increasing the rewards. This way, instead of the community being like, hey, don't, and we've seen this in the past with other projects, don't stake, because if you stake, our APY goes, don't tell your friends, because then our APY goes down. But we want people to encourage people to stake. We want people to like be rallying as a community, and the more that's staked, the more that we could give in rewards. So that's the way we're doing it. It's a ladder model that the more that gets staked, the more rewards will be given.
It's an interesting concept. I like it. I like it because you're right. You know, especially back, and if we kind of go back to 2021, there were lots of opportunities for yield farming, but again, the knowledge for those yield farms was ultimately kept amongst a small group of people until they were ready to then go and dump whatever yield they made, and it suddenly went up, and then from whatever percentage you've got back down to zero, and obviously the last man is the one holding the bag. So so
you had to know someone, basically. You're being like special, all the special secret Telegram groups.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I'll say I was a part of few.
Here we're encouraging people to share the word and try to get as much staked as possible.
No, good. And so
because that ultimately makes the chain more secure.
Exactly. So moving on slightly, because I have seen people asking things like what about Solana? What about Ethereum? How does Dogechain compare with chains like Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, for example?
So Solana is kind of a different model. Solana is a little more of a like VC backed, a little bit more centralized, maybe some could argue a lot more centralized, but good like throughput and good wallet experience for their NFTs. That's something they've done very well. What I guess the best way to put it, I guess you could say this competes with Ethereum, but supports Polygon. And Polygon supports Ethereum. So at the end of the day, this also supports Ethereum because so we're going to be using supernets for to increase our security. It's already a Polygon edge chain. That's why the colors on the logo are purple. Everything we do is should try to support and not compete with Polygon. And so when we use supernets, and this is not even, I don't think, public knowledge yet, but it is, I guess, now. But when supernets is more available, when they release their next client, we'll be moving forward with some other things. So there's some alpha for your users.
There you go.
And it will be maybe the first or one of the first projects to actually be using supernets in its for this iteration that's coming forward soon. I got to be careful what I say because I don't want to expose some of their things
of course. Yep. We are live streaming at the same time, Roc, just to let you know as a reminder.
Yeah, so we can't edit later. Okay. This is a Polygon Edge chain. It'll be fully interoperable with all Polygon chains. It'll support Polygon by staking Matic and getting security from Matic. And then Matic ultimately and Polygon support Ethereum by giving a place to do your transactions when Ethereum gas prices are high. And ultimately, like Polygon is one of the highest contributors to the miners on Ethereum because all Polygon transactions are checkpointed to Ethereum, and and Polygon's validators are actually live on Ethereum. So Polygon ultimately strongly supports Ethereum, and even more will support Ethereum through their ZK rollups, their optimistic rollups, their privacy chains like Nightfall, and so they've got a bunch of different chains they're building. So Polygon is building chains that will all be in Polygon ecosystem. Matic, the first chain, is part of those. That's why they rebranded from Matic to Polygon, because Matic was a POS plasma chain, And now they're going to have all these other chains that are more aligned, I think, with the Ethereum roadmap, which is like optimistic rollups,
Yep.
ZKs, etc., which is what Vitalik asked them to do live on, I think, the Lex Friedman podcast. And now they're doing it, which is great. And that's why you see so much alignment between Polygon and Ethereum, where at first Ethereum was doubtful of Polygon. Similar to some of the Doge community is doubtful of Dogechain.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do is we have to earn the trust of the Doge OGs and foundation and everyone by giving value back to Doge. And the more we give value back to Doge, the longer we run without, any like hacks or us rugging. Because there were some OG Doge people that were worried, what if they rug? And like, okay, now we've been up for a while. We're showing a lot of value to the Doge ecosystem. We earn their trust, just like Polygon has clearly earned the trust of Ethereum. I was in Colombia at DevCon, and the Polygon booth was like the most visited booth I think that I saw there. So like Polygon is clearly helping Ethereum. So I guess in a lot of words, I kind of explained how this all plays together. The thing I guess that's different with us being a Polygon chain is we're not created by the Polygon team. We are, we created our own chain using their SDK and then adapting it with our own technology to have like our Doge bridge, etc., from native Doge. But what's different from us is we're focused on the meme culture. We're focused on the NFT culture, the fun, the gamify. Like people are doing like all kinds of weird and fun things that you're not used to on other chains that have like try to put their professional corporate suits on in a lot of ways. Like we have every Friday on our Twitter spaces, we have at the end the shitcoin showdown.
Yep.
Where people can join and anyone can shill their project. And it's fun and silly. There's a lot of weird projects. Like there's one that I really love is Real Doge Punks. So this was a really cool story. Husband and wife created this. The wife had been making this Doge art, these 10,000 NFTs, PFPs, she had been making this for 9 months, but didn't know what chain they wanted to launch on. And then she found Dogechain and was like, oh my God, I found the perfect chain to launch my Real Doge Punks NFTs. And so the husband does a lot of the business and I think the dev side, and then she did all the art. And so 9 months of work went into this, and now it's the most used NFT on Real Doge on Dogechain. So I really like it. I bought some myself. Disclaimer. Someone tried to gift me one that I was looking for, and I don't want to take gifts, so I'm probably going to just buy it from the person. But it's a Doge with laser eyes. So like I'm a big Bitcoiner. Yeah. It has the laser eyes, and it's got a lightsaber. So I'm like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing, Yeah. So these are the kind of things people are building on this chain. And we saw in the first 5 days, we had over 600 projects launch on the chain. Within a month, we had more transactions than Ethereum. And I think within like a month and a half, we had more transactions than Polygon, main chain Polygon as well. And now I think we're averaging like 1 million transactions a day, which is, I think, around or more than Ethereum. I don't know, 3 million unique wallets. Now, some of those I'm sure are like bots trying to game airdrops or things like that. So be aware of that. But it still is a lot of activity for such a new chain. I mean, Polygon, it took us, in the first year of our like marketing before we even created QuickSwap there. To get to even, $1 million in TVL, it took, I don't know how long it took Polygon, probably a year or more. I don't remember the exact time, but we were able to get to, I think, if you include the Doge bridged over and then all the assets on the dexes, et cetera, 50 million plus in TVL in like a month. And so that's pretty cool to see. It shows there's a big appetite for what we're doing, for, memes and all this fun stuff. We're trying to make DeFi more fun. We're trying to add more. We're not just focused on the like foundation of DeFi, but on also all the fun stuff, which is, I think in a world where there's COVID and lockdowns and World War III and, inflation and, recessions, I think that this is something that the world needs. They want something more fun to play with.
No, it's a valid point. And I think on that note, Roc, as we are drawing close to the end of our stream, any last closing thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers?
The hat, like, hang in there, guys. We're Bitcoin to 100,000. It's going to happen. I don't want to give too many price predictions, but I think that's totally viable within the next. I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised if it happened in 6 months, but I would. I don't think it will, but I wouldn't be that surprised. We know how Bitcoin and crypto can.
Yep, we all know how the cycles work. Yep.
But yeah, I would say Bitcoin to 100,000 within a couple of years. At most, I would say it is not financial advice, and I would say Bitcoin to 1 million within maybe 6 to 7 years. But hang in there. The market is hard. It feels bad, but remember, guys, when you were first, learning about crypto, I think you probably all heard people say it will be in cycles, and there will be big crashes. This is all part of the playbook in a lot of ways. And whether it's manipulated by institutions to get cheaper prices, or whether it's just natural market behavior, it went from 3,000 to 69,000. That's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And so it's natural to have pullbacks when you have that kind of growth. And that's how tech goes in these cycles. Even the internet. I mean, Amazon lost 95% in the .com bubble, and now it's been on a upward trajectory with pullbacks in 2008 and others multiple times. And so just hang in there, guys. I know it's scary. Try not to let your emotions control your behavior. I think the safest thing to do is just dollar cost average with money that you can afford to lose. And if you believe in this, make bets that you believe in. Stop making short-term bets like, oh, I think this token could go up in the next month or whatever. Stop doing that. Stop trying to trade around short events. You're going to get wrecked. I think the safest thing to do, my personal, not financial advice opinion, is to just dollar cost average assets that you believe in for the long term, right? Yeah. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon. I'm not even going to give I'm going to say Dogechain, I think is a higher risk project. So I'm not even going to tell people to buy Dogechain. I mean, do your own research and do whatever you want. If you believe in what we're doing, great. But like the safest things out there is really Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Polygon. Those are the things that are safe that I think will definitely stand the test of time. We're in this for the long haul with Dogechain. I certainly think it will stand the test of time, but I don't like, kind of pumping my own bags and, saying, hey, buy our token. I would never say that, not even to family,
Wonderful. Well, look, Roc, thank you so much for coming on the stream today. Thank you to the viewers. A lot of listened in. It's been great. It's the first time we're doing on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. So it was absolutely awesome. And I'd love to have you back again, catch up and get some more regular updates in terms of what's happening with the Dogechain ecosystem now that everybody knows what it's all about. And until the next time.
Yeah, and we can in the future we could even just talk like more general market
conditions.
of course,
and
stuff like that as well.
I'm always happy to do that. Always happy.
Of course, I like talking about my own projects, but I think educating people on the whole macro of everything and all that is also very valuable.
Great. Well, thank you, Roc. Speak to you soon.